An ice storm, an earthquake, and then an aftershock.
We tell you all we know about the cleanup and the recent shakeup in the area.
News 12 at 11 in high definition starts now.
Good evening, I'm Ryan Houston.
And I'm Christy Etheridge. Thanks for joining us. We've had calls and Facebook posts from many of you that are still without power. It's day 5 and frustration is building.
Planters Electric says it's taking them longer to get people restored because they have more miles per line and they're having to go into swamps and fields. News 12's Julie Calhoun just got off the phone with the company.
Yeah, Ryan, this area along Washington Road was without power just a couple days ago, and that's something people in Jefferson and Burke counties are still dealing with. Those Planters Electric say that they have crews out working, and they've gotten crews from all over to come help them out, and that this is some of the worst devastation they've ever seen.
I don't see any hope for the next day or two.
Mike Cope has been without power for 5 days now. He has Planters Electric and says he hasn't seen anyone out working, and the frustration is starting to build.
Any trucks on this road at all, hardly. And I think they forgot about us. Nobody seems to care. Nobody's coming and telling us what the plan is.
No lights, no water, and no heat. All Cope can do is sit and just wait for the lights to come on.
We're at their mercy. We got to do what we got to do.
Planters Electric says they've been out working and have had EMCs from around the state and Alabama come in to help out. They say the many miles of rural areas why it's taking a little longer. Many of you on Facebook have also been posting about Jefferson Electric.
77 or so years it took to build this whole system. In 18 hours, the huge percentage of it was torn down, destroyed.
Talker says they immediately called for help. Storm Services Company has come and set up a base camp for workers as they come in. They've had 350 additional workers come in today alone.
A lot of times in a rural area, it's very common that, you know, the fault on the line could be miles away from a certain few houses or a house.
At one point, 28,000 out of the 33,000 members of Jefferson Electric were without power. They know people are getting impatient, but Chalker says just because you don't see a truck doesn't mean they aren't working.
We wish we could get it all on 3 days ago, but we're working on it. I guarantee you that we are working on it.
There's still about 7,500 people with planters still without power, and they say they will be out working until midnight tonight, and they'll be back at it at 6 in the morning.
All right, thank you. I know, Julie, that was an update a lot of people wanted. Thank you, Julie.
And it's time to check in with another update. Meteorologist Matt Sanderson.
Matt, we're going to have more on the aftershock we felt in our area today after your first weather, but right now we want to hear about some sunshine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sunshine in the works, Christy and Ryan, but just not as of yet. Now, talking about the earthquake, you're exactly right. You're going to talk about that here in just 1 second. But for today, it was in the same location, or roughly the same location, we had that earthquake on Friday. Now, today was more classified as an aftershock, a little bit weaker, 3.2 in magnitude and depth, still at 3 miles, the same as the one on Friday at 3:23 p.m. today. So you may have felt it, you may have not, but it was definitely nothing like the Friday earthquake that rolled in on Valentine's Day. 39 for Barnwell, 44 Augusta, down toward Louisville, checking in at a warm 49 degrees at this hour. But Thompson, 36 degrees, a little bit cooler out there to the west. Satellite and radar combination showed a few clouds trying to roll into the CSRA. Not really much there, it looks like at this point in time. However, some very thin clouds helping to kind of trap in a little bit of the heat here and there. Heading things tomorrow, we're looking at 7 a.m. temperatures right around 36 degrees. A few clouds here and there, northeast winds 5 to 7 miles per hour. But notice how the winds switch throughout the day. East 6 to 8 at noon, and then southeast by 5 p.m. with temperatures in the low 60s. We'll see a nice day tomorrow, but even warmer days ahead. I'll get to the details coming up in just a few moments. Christy.
Thank you, Matt. This afternoon, many of you felt an aftershock from the Edgefield earthquake on Friday. According to the USGS, initial reports are saying it may have been a 3.2 magnitude aftershock. The Columbia County EMA director says it's not as bad as the earthquake we felt on Friday, but it was enough to hear and feel. Edgefield EMA says they've heard about some hairline fractures to houses and some cracks in that area, but no injuries have been reported. The USGS says aftershocks can continue over a period of weeks, months, or even years.
Many of you are starting to turn on lights, stoves, and heaters in your homes again, and while the ice storm is still affecting some, providers are telling us almost everyone should be out of the dark by tomorrow night.
The men and women working to bring that power back also got some help last night. News 12's George Lopez tells us why the YMCA opened their doors to Georgia Power crews.
handshakes at the door.
Welcome to Augusta, huh?
And welcome signs right after that is what crews from Georgia Power walked into at the Wheeler YMCA.
Ready to go back home?
Yeah, I know our family's ready to see us some more.
After days of being away from home in 16-hour shifts to bring power back on for many of you, the YMCA decided to help those helping us.
Looking to give back and try to help some of these utility workers that are in town.
Steve Peruca runs the center, and for now his basketball court will double as a big bedroom.
We've got 500 cots set up.
And the linemen were fed first.
It was awesome. Couldn't wait for it.
And then they had a chance to shower before hitting the sack.
How long has it been since you've been able to get in one of those hot waters like that?
Probably about 16, 17 hours.
Something Peruca says they're glad to do for those who have done so much for us.
Thank you for everything you guys did. My power came on at 2 o'clock.
Glad to help.
In Augusta, George Lopez, News 12.
I'm really glad those guys finally got some rest. Georgia Power says less than 150 customers are still in the dark, with hopes all their customers will be up soon.
And crews have made good progress on getting the power back on in South Carolina. Utility officials say 64,000 in the state are sleeping another night without power. Now that number is down from 100,000 people at daybreak. Last look at the outage map, about 10,000 SC&G customers are without power in the area. Check this map online at WRDW.com.
We know that some of you are getting restless without power for days as the work week ahead that can do that to you. Pike Electric was out working on Georgia Avenue today after dark as crews continue to work throughout the week. We're on your side, making sure you have the latest information after the storm.
And we're learning more about the Augusta water tower that we caught gushing water right after Friday night's earthquake. Tom Wiedemeyer with the City of Augusta says it was caused by the ice storm and not movement from the ground. He says the overflow is designed to do that when the system is overwhelmed.
We don't like to overflow the tank, but when we're operating blind, that's the lesser of two evils to me.
Wiedemeyer also says the plants have backup generators, so there was no real threat of losing water, and it's still in good use.
Some thought the home of the Masters would be affected by that water tower leak. We've since learned that's not the case. The ice storm actually damaged the Eisenhower tree so badly that it had to be removed. The Augusta National Golf Club confirms the tree lost major branches and was taken away this weekend. Andrew Snicker will tell us about the history of the tree later on in sports. Power is not the only thing worrying some people. Those of you in Beach Island are urged to boil your water before drinking or cooking with it. Also, the city of Blythe wants you to boil water too until further notice. Once those notices are lifted, we'll let you know.
Cleanup crews in our area are still chugging along. Now that sound is music to some of our ears. Now we're on your side with suggestions from the Columbia County EMA. If you have limbs to put on your curb, don't put them in the street, but also don't push them further than 8 feet from the curb. Plus, only trees and limbs will be picked up. Also, be sure to move your cars off the curb starting Wednesday. And if you live on a private road, bring your debris to a main road. And an investigation begins after 2 relatives die in a fire in Burke County. Insurance Commissioner Ralph Hudgens says 19-year-old Quantavian Adams and his 65-year-old uncle, Georgia Powell, died Saturday night. The fire happened in Vidette, just miles away from Southwest Augusta. The cause is under investigation, and their bodies have been taken to the GBI crime lab.
Some schools have a national holiday Monday for President's Day. Aiken County schools will be closed Monday because of persisting power outages and road blockages. Edgefield County schools say it's closed Monday for students and teachers, but 240-day staff should report. Georgia Military College is closed, and so is Richmond County. Columbia County kids are off, but teachers are to report. Check our website for a list of school closures. We're updating the list 24/7.
It's been a long and crazy week with one of the most worst ice storms we've ever seen.
That's right, but we made it through and we're stronger for it. So as we move forward cleaning up and getting our power back, we leave you with a look back at what we just endured.
This is a historic event. You know, we said all week preparing for this thing that it was going to be a major ice storm, and it has proven true.
We're out salting bridges, we're putting gravel down where we can. We got our snow plows out, we got our motor graders out. When it's falling at this rate, it's hard to keep up with it. It falls faster than we can get it out of the way.
It's bad. I mean, it's popping and cracking. Yeah, it's like cannons going off all the time.
See? Well, I tell you, we ain't walking down there, no.
Got to be careful because the trees will fall on you.
It all went downhill on us in the last 2 hours.
No heat.
I haven't seen anything this bad in my 36 in emergency management. We've had bad ice storms, but this has by far been the worst.
Columbia County 311, this is Dorothy. How may I help you?
We've been here all night and we're not going anywhere. We'll be here again tonight too.
We hadn't had power since yesterday. If I didn't have a generator, yeah, we'd have trouble.
Just trying to keep people to stay home and get them transported to shelters. I mean, it's a massive operation.
We very much appreciate your support. I have extended the state declaration of emergency until Sunday evening, and we're hopeful that the federal authorities will follow suit. That will give us some help with what you're going to need a great deal of here in this area, and that is debris removal.
Thousands of trees, thousands of power lines, you know, running out of fuel for our emergency response vehicles. Just a time in our lives where it's a disaster. This is a disaster. People just have to hunker down.
Better. Augusta commissioners will meet with the Georgia Emergency Management Team tomorrow morning at 10:30. Leaders will receive an update on the storm cleanup and what's ahead for Augusta-Richmond County. They'll also discuss the good things done and how they can improve. On Tuesday during the commission meeting, a report will be given on how much county crews will need to be paid in overtime since the storm hit. The work session for the Administrative Services Committee is being rescheduled, and all Richmond County offices are open tomorrow, but the schools are closed.
The mayor of Augusta is applauding the area and crews after such a wild week.
I want my citizens to know that I am so proud of them, the way that neighbors have helped neighbors. You know, they didn't need to be asked. The city's response has been great, but at the community level and the citizen level, it's been amazing to watch.
His Twitter has sung nothing but praises for the city of Augusta. On Friday during the quake, he was urging citizens to stay calm. You can catch a few of his tweets and others on our website, WRDW.com.
What a wild week.
It has been a wild week, but you know what? He's right. Everybody's kind of joined together, and it's really great to see people helping people.
It warms your heart to know that everybody, we can put aside our differences and come together and be one big happy family.
You can't come together during an ice storm. I don't know when you can.
Oh, yeah.
A body found in Waynesboro yesterday down the street from her home. We tell you about the latest about the investigation.
And Augusta's NAACP president is reacting to a mistrial on a first-degree murder charge against Michael Dunn. His emotional response after the break.
77-year-old Arletha Bennett's body was found in his utility room. Police, GBI, and caring neighbors covered the scene. Bennett had been missing since January 17th. Police say no suspects have been taken into custody. The cause of her death is still unknown.
And today, many Augusta churches and pastors held a special prayer for the family of a Florida teen who was killed after an argument over loud music.
Based on the jury's inability to reach a verdict as to count one, I would declare that mistried.
Florida jury found Michael Dunn guilty on 4 charges, including second-degree attempted murder. Police say Dunn shot up an SUV with teens inside after asking them to turn their music down. 17-year-old Jordan Davis was killed in the shooting. The jury was unable to reach a verdict on the first-degree murder charge, and the judge declared a mistrial on that charge alone. The state has announced a plan to retry Dunn. Augusta's NAACP president says this is sending a wrong message about the value of a young black teenager's life. He got pretty choked up. It sounds like there's some emotion coming out of you. Where is that coming from?
It's emotion because you're looking at basically young African-American teens that's being shot and killed in cold blood. And all you can feel is just, not necessarily saying anger, but hurt, disgust, and disbelief that a person can walk up and just pull the trigger on you, and knowing that a state like Florida, and it could happen in Georgia, anywhere.
Dr. Smith says the NAACP plans to bring in the national group Saving Our Sons to make this a teachable moment for young African Americans. Florida state attorneys have said they plan to retry Dunn on that first-degree murder charge. Today, if Jordan Davis was alive, he would have turned 19 years old.
We were all a little busy wondering if the world was coming to an end, so you may have missed GRU sort of saved the A. Augusta has been adding to the signs on the GRU Somerville campus. And there was a lot of backlash after new signs were put up a few weeks back with the word Augusta missing. The university apologized and then added the A to GRU. Now this is video from 2 different locations on the Somerville campus.
And you may have seen some blue or green flashes in the sky during our ice storm. Georgia Power says if you saw something like this, it's not a UFO. It's when limbs hit lines and arc flashes, and it can look like a green or blue flash in the sky. They say what's usually described as a transformer blowing, it's actually the protective fuse blowing. Now that may cause a flash, but not necessarily.
And this, we are about to see cell phone video today, thanks to Chris for sending this in after a car fire in the parking lot of Target. Man, look at those flames. You may have seen this if you were passing through that area. Richmond County Dispatch says there were no injuries to this fire.
That's good news.
Yeah, definitely good news.
To sports now, the ice storm has made its mark on Augusta National.
Eisenhower's tree is no longer standing tall at 17. More on that historic tree coming up. Plus, GRU Augusta basketball played its second game in as many days, and the Jags got more than they could handle. Let's take a look at some of our favorite tweets of the week using hashtag CSRAIce. This one says, aftershock from our earthquake a little bit ago, I need a vacay. Angel, I'm with you.
Out of Augusta, one Twitter user says, never been so excited to see anything from Alabama. Hashtag Alabama Power.
And Crystal P says, I survived an icequake apocalypse.
Hey, I'm with the vacation thing here, guys, but Gregory S. says, an ice storm and an earthquake too? I'm looking at you, Jim Cantori. So I think that's only appropriate, right? Jim Cantori's in town. You know there's bad weather.
You know, yeah, that brings him to town.
Yep, exactly.
But it's going to get better, though, right?
Yeah, it's going to get better. And there has been some rumor out there about a possible ice storm for next weekend. There is no ice storm for next weekend. Temperatures will be in the 50s to 70s, guys.
Ooh, that sounds so much better. Yep. All right, thanks for joining us. Be sure to wake up with News 12 this morning.
Law Call is next. Have a good night.